welcome to LTV's Top Props. My name is Carl Piermarini. Today we're going to take a trip to Lynn, Massachusetts, where we're going to meet John Antonellis, who has created a full-scale replica of the Lost in Space Chariot. Let's take a look. So are you the designated driver?
Yes, I am the designated driver.
Took the responsibility, right?
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, it's a 1965 Theocall Snowcat. It's got a 6-cylinder, Ford engine in it. Everything's original to the motor. We actually bought the Chariot from a guy in Boise, Idaho, I think it was. The guy had just rebuilt the engine, so we actually lucked out. The body was just like a 2-seater pickup truck, and that was beat to hell. But we didn't care about the body because we just took it off and threw it away anyway. It just has a regular 4-speed transmission. Yeah. And you steer it just with like a skid steer with the brakes.
Right.
And that's it.
Sitting here with John Antonellis. We're sitting, by the way, in the replica, full-scale replica of the Lost in Space Chariot. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
Obviously, you were a fan as a kid growing up.
Huge fan.
Huge fan, okay. And loved Lost in Space, watched it every week. Wanted to be on the Jupiter 2?
Wanted to be Will Robinson, and
Okay.
who didn't, right?
Okay. So we fast forward 30 years.
30, 50, yeah.
I wanted to be nice.
Thank you.
Okay, so you own an elevator.
Yeah, we design and build custom elevator cabs for the New England market. We have 35,000 square feet of manufacturing, welding stations, metal, paint, electrical, everything. So
To complete this plug, where are you located?
we're located in Lynn, Massachusetts. It's called Elevator Interior Design.
Very good. And I'm sure every hotel or place we go in Boston, there's
The whole Boston skyline, we've been doing it for 30 years, so
Nice.
you've been in our elevators.
Now, is it a family-owned company?
No, started it again 30 years ago. Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah, thank you.
So you were ready-made. You had the tools and everything in place to fulfill a dream.
That's correct.
What gave you the idea of rebuilding the chariot?
It was January 2015, just after New Year's, and I was looking out over my shop, second floor. Lights were dim. I was looking out at all the stations, and a little melancholy, thinking about how fast the year had gone, the previous year, New Year's, and I started thinking back about when I was a kid, and 50 years had passed, and it dawned on me that it was the 50th anniversary of the TV show Lost in Space, 1965 to 68. And I kind of leaned against the window and I said, we have some pretty good technicians here. And I bet that we could have built this like the 20th Century Fox prop department did back in 1965. We have all the capability, the metal shop, everything. And it dawned on me, that we may not see this vehicle. I've always watched out for it over the years, followed it, and it's after the show went back to the ski mountain and was repurposed, and I believe it's in a private collection now. So it was 50 years, and I said I would have gone anywhere in the United States to see this vehicle. It's like a touchstone, And I said, I bet you we could have built it. And I said, let's go over. I went over to my computer and did a Craigslist search for a 1965 Snowcat, and one came up. Thiokol Snowcat, yeah.
Okay.
Sprite.
Okay.
One came up, and I've looked since, and there hasn't been another one available. So we reached out to the owner, and he said it's still for sale. We purchased it, had it flatbedded up to Lynn, Massachusetts, and got here in the end of February. And that's when we had those two great snowstorms in February. Had no idea how to drive this, no idea what it was going to be like. We backed it off the flatbed and took off the snow. It was fantastic. So what I did once I found the Snowcat, I took a picture of the Chariot, brought it to everyone in my shop. Some people recognized it immediately, others just said, yeah, that's cool. I said,
One at a time.
I want to build this. And they're like, let's do it, because we build elevators regularly. So all of my crew came in on Saturdays and at night, many beers and pizzas later. 7 months later, we had it built.
I followed your progress.
Thank you.
On your postings, and
Yeah.
it was great. It was fantastic.
Great.
You did a great job. What were some of the challenges? I know there are probably a billion of them. But,
After you decide to do something, and when you're done, if you were going to do it again, you probably wouldn't have done it. So the challenges really were, well, first of all, we had to use screen caps to figure out dimensions until Kevin Burns, Prometheus Production, who's the custodian of all Irwin Allen's properties, saw what we did. We reached out to him, said we want to build a Chariot. He said fantastic, and he saw some pictures, and he's a huge fan, and a great guy. He went down to the archives at the prop department and sent us original blueprints. So we had a little bit of a head start on that, and that helped. Finding period components, the seats that we're sitting in are Borg Warner fiberglass seats from the 60s. Obviously the story about the Burroughs computers that were all the blinky lights in the dashboard, Burroughs was pretty much out of date in the 60s, and prop departments used all the computer components. You see it in the Batcave, you see it in Austin Powers, all the computer backgrounds that they use for those scenes. And we were lucky enough to, this year, locate about 40 registers, Burroughs registers, which is very rare. So we're in the process of restoring them right now, so that the Chariot is as screen accurate as it was in 1965. So it's getting there.
It's getting there. But just the search for the parts, I mean, where would you find some of these jams?
Yeah, I was very lucky to have reached out to somebody online. His name was Chris Pappas.
Yes.
And Chris, all I knew of Chris was he knew a lot about the sci-fi, things that went on, Deep Space Nine, and obviously Lost in Space. He had a ton of blueprints as well. So I reached out to him via email, and I said, "Hey, Chris, I'm thinking about building a Chariot. You want to come on board?" And he said two things. Are you serious? And I said, yes. And he said, absolutely. I said, where do you live? He could have been anywhere in the country. He happens to live in this state. So very lucky to bring him on board. He came up. And I really didn't, I'm a builder. I like cars. I like motorcycles, boats. This obviously is a passion of mine. And I didn't realize until Chris came on board how exacting the sci-fi community the demands they would have on getting this as perfect and screen accurate as possible. So when we completed it in 2015, just in time for the anniversary of the show, we had it in New York with the cast, Billy Mooney, Angela Cartwright, Marta Kristen, Mark Goddard, and it was a joy to see them, and it was fantastic to have them in the Chariot after 50 years.
Did they give you some thumbs up?
They absolutely did. They loved it. And last year we were down in New Jersey with them, and it was like a big tree house for them. So they were hanging off and had a great time. We had the old laser guns and so on. Great photo ops. But when we were done after 7 months, we weren't just there. We didn't have the right seats in, the right seat belts and everything. But it's now that much further along, and we will get it refined very shortly. Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you a few questions that probably the normal people wouldn't ask you, because
Sure.
I'm a prop fan myself, as you know. But okay, the plexiglass. Did you have to vacuum form all these?
There are the compound corners, the
Yes,
four corners.
which I'm going to have to do because I'm creating an 8th scale RC version of this now as we speak.
Fantastic, good, yeah. So yeah, that's the challenge.
Yeah.
So we molded it and then vacuum formed it around, and we had the good guys in the shop doing that. The front corners of the Chariot, which are also compound, the rest of the body is sheet steel rolled, but the corners are all fiberglass because they're just a real challenge. The craftsmen at the shop did a fantastic job. Yeah.
Now, this unit in the front which on the show was what, the radar scanner?
This is a scanner. This scanned land masses and so on. Yeah.
And that was another thing. I remember you having some issues trying to find the right lens,
Yeah, again, in our haste to get it done, it looked like the scanner, but it was a PVC piece that had a little bit of sculpting into it. Now it's a machined part. Again, Chris Pappas did his magic and sent us an AutoCAD drawing that was perfect. Had that machined down and applied to the face. But everything is recreated.
And everything's recreated, everything is functional, fully functional,
Yep.
the way it was in the series.
Yep.
I know Vic has a B9 here that he displays with your Chariot.
Sure.
Are you thinking of putting a B9 here?
Yeah, we have to. I mean, there's no question about getting a torso B9 that's somewhat animated with the voice, and we'll see what we can do. There's a B9 Builders Club out there, and now somebody just became licensed to produce them again. So yeah, we'd love to have that to complete the effect.
It's one of my projects in the future. We both want to build B9s.
Yeah.
If you ever get around to the idea of building a space pod or a Jupiter 2, give us a call. We want to help.
We would love to. There's enough people with flight decks out there. If I could move it, if I could fly it.
All right, I know you're busy. I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much again.
Thanks, Carl. Appreciate it. Thank you. Take care now.